welcome back to my channel. Wow, what an election. What an election that went so incredibly normal, but yet so incredibly bad nuts during a pandemic. It was stressful and nail-biting, but Biden managed to pull it off in the end by 6 states. 6. I know that they're only saying like 4 states were in the balance, but Michigan and Wisconsin were in the balance too, guys. And we took all 6. He can't fight legal battles in all 6. So, let that sink in. But yeah, I don't know about you guys, but Tuesday night was terrifying. Even though we were aware of the Red Mirage, that we had been warned for months about the Red Mirage. We knew it was coming. We knew that Trump had highly discouraged his own supporters to do vote by mail. So we knew that their turnout was going to be high on election day, while our turnout was going to be high through mail-in ballots. So when all those states started turning red, my husband was afraid. I knew to look into the counties and to see what was outstanding. And I was like, I know we're good. We're going to do this. We can do this. And when 4 a.m. rolled around and Wisconsin was the first to turn blue, I breathed a sigh of relief. A complete and total sigh of relief. And I said, all we need is one more state. And then they're like, Georgia's going to go blue. I'm like, there's no way. But then in the middle of the night, one time I woke up, Michigan had gone blue. And I was like, okay, we're really good here now. Because it looks like we're going to get Arizona. We're getting Wisconsin. We're getting Michigan. We just need something else. But as the votes slowly kept ticking in and we weren't getting to Georgia, I had my doubts. I'm not going to lie. I had my doubts. But I kept an eye on those numbers. There's numbers of ballots which have not changed and or gone up. They have consistently gone down. There are no fake ballots. They started to tick up and they started to show where Biden was going to take it. Biden was going to take Georgia, and then Biden took Pennsylvania, and that was it. We won. It took us 5 days, a lot of nail-biting experiences, a lot of untruthful texts from the President of the United States, and a lot of Biden acting like the President of the United States should before he even was officially the President-elect. I give him credit for that, because this had to be frustrating. If it had been Trump that had won, it would have been called on every station. But they waited, and they waited on Biden, and it took forever. But we did it. Now, I want to address a couple of things. Some rumors, just to dispel some of your fears. Okay, first off, there are going to be recounts. Donald Trump is going to try and get a recount everywhere he can. But it's very, very unlikely that he's going to be able to throw out 9,000, 10,000, 20,000, 30,000, in Michigan, 100,000 ballots. He doesn't have proof of voter fraud. So even in those recounts, he's not going to be able to throw those ballots out. These states are comfortably enough in Biden's range that there's no way that Donald Trump can pull them back. Even if he tries to throw out ballot after ballot, it's just not possible. So there's no path for him to go in a recount section. The other thing that people are worried about is the litigation, where Trump is threatening to bring a ton of litigation and tie it up in the courts. He can do that. It's his legal right. But the Supreme Court, you have to start from the bottom courts up and work your way out. And so far, lower courts have been throwing out his lawsuits left and right. In fact, there was one lawsuit in Pennsylvania where the judge asked them, do you have people in the room? And Trump's defense, the lawyers in there were like, we have a number that's more than 0. Because they didn't want to say how many people they had watching the ballots. Because it's a ton. You could watch it on webcams. You could watch it via, like, poll watchers. Republicans and Democrats were both watching, and no one raised a red flag. Republicans were not kicked out. I want to make that very clear, because you're going to hear that from a lot of Republicans. Well, they were kicked out, and all those ballots should be thrown out. No. They were in there the whole time. They had to admit that they had less than 0 in the room, because there were a ton of poll watchers, poll workers that were Republican in those rooms during that count, along with reporters. So no, there's not a bunch of dumped in fraudulent votes. The other thing you're going to hear is that 138,000 votes turned up for Joe Biden in Michigan magically in one sitting. It was somebody's typo. 6,000 votes that should have been given to Trump were not given to Trump. The votes that should have been given to Biden were not appropriately given to Biden. It was fixed within minutes. It was done. It was over with. It was caught because they check and double check these ballots over and over again to ensure they get a fair count. They don't just, no, they're very thorough about it. That is why it took them so long. Now, there is one court case that Trump wants to bring that does make me nervous. Just because I wouldn't know how to fight it, but I'm not a lawyer. But he does want to throw out any ballot that doesn't have its envelope, by the way they're making it sound. Like, you can't tell where it belongs because it's not connected to its envelope. You have to open up ballots to get to... You have to open up the envelope and separate it to get to where it is. And your information is on the mail-in ballots. I don't think that that's going to be an issue, but it does worry me because I'm just not sure how you would fight that, because it's the stupidity of it. It's just stupid enough to maybe get some ballots thrown out. Maybe. For those of you who think that, or they're saying, well, the Supreme Court's just going to hand it to Trump. They're not just going to be like, Trump's the winner. They don't have that authority. They only have the authority to try and throw out ballots. That is Trump's best hope. And like I said, it doesn't look like that's going to happen. They wouldn't help him before the election. They're sure as hell not going to help him after the election. So they may give him a few padded rulings here and there, but there's no way that they're going to throw out millions of ballots just because Trump can't handle the fact that he lost. The other thing you have to worry about is Trump dragging it out to try and get the state legislators to vote. But a lot of Republican state legislators have said that they don't have that authority. Not only do they not have that authority, but they won't do it. And so what they can do is they can send, they can choose to send electors if the vote is too close or they deem it illegitimate. They can send their own electors. But I don't think it's going to happen. I don't think they're going to risk the presidents to allow that to happen so that anytime a Democrat wants to take it and Democrat-held legislatures can do it. They're not going to want to set that precedent, so I don't think it's going to happen. But it's something we should watch out for. The other thing we have to watch out for is Trump when he finally realizes he has no other path. Because he's going to act like a psycho and a man baby. And he's going to try and take as many Americans down with him. And he's going to encourage his supporters to be as violent as possible. So we need to be aware of that. But take today to breathe and enjoy the victory. And we will fight tomorrow. And we will fight for our future. But you should definitely take the win that we have. And you should enjoy it. Because Trump has lost. That's just a simple fact. Trump has lost. And we're the reason why. Because we went out and we voted. And we said that we would not stand for fascism. We were able to do what 1940s Germany was not. Through a democratic process. And I could not be prouder of the 74 million Americans that voted on the right side of history. Now, to the 70 million that voted on the wrong side of history, you and I don't want to talk right now. You and I ain't friends. But maybe in time you'll better educate yourself. Maybe you will learn that systematic racism is a thing. Maybe you'll learn that sterilizing children or sterilizing women in Georgia is not acceptable. Or separating mothers from children is not acceptable. Maybe you will learn. I don't know. I encourage you to learn. I encourage you to broaden your horizon and maybe understand why you voted the way you voted and why it is the wrong side of history. But don't expect us to be civil. All right, guys, I will see y'all later.